aloha, everyone. Thank you for coming. Today, we have a really awesome presentation by our sponsors, PAVE Prevention. And the title of this presentation is Mitigating Violence, Igniting Safer Workplaces, and Creating Value. PAVE Prevention is a social enterprise which offers guidance, training, and advice to companies, their employees, and the community they are operating within on how to proactively prevent, react, and heal the from violent events. And so we have two speakers and presenters today. And so I just wanted to say we have Arlene Lemus, deemed one of the greatest martial arts athletes of the 20th century. Arlene has made history on September 17th, 1988, when she became the first American, the first female to win a gold medal on the 24th Olympic Games in Seoul, Korea, in the sport of Taekwondo. Following a successful competitive career, Arlene dedicated over 30 years to empowering athletes and students to reach their martial arts and sports goals. Arlene has spent most of her adult career advocating for athletes' safety on and off the field, a passion that has partnered her with Safe Sports, helping to develop MAAPP, CIGA, and U.S. State Department envoy to Jordan and the halls of Congress. Then we have Luis. And Luis, I don't want to butcher your last name. I haven't said it yet. But he holds his MA in Responsible Management and Sustainable Economic Development at University of Peace, a bachelor's degree in International Relations from Universidad Nacional, Costa Rica, with a specialization in internal trade, along with completing university courses in anthropology, political science, and humanities from a program at East Carolina University. And Universidad de Costa Rica, he is currently doing a dual degree master in business administration and a master's degree program in finance at UID, Europe Business School. So thank you to both of you. I've been highly impressed with all of the work that you've done so far, and I'm really excited for this presentation. Take it away, Arlene.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I'm very excited and honored to be here. And I'd like to just start our presentation today with this procedure that I have found very inspiring through some international sessions that I've been involved in, and that just is acknowledging the place that I'm at and its ancestral history and paying honor to the ancestral land. So I'm in New Mexico, which is incredibly bountiful with indigenous people. So I just want to honor the space that I'm in and then start my presentation. So thank you for indulging me in that. But as Tasha has given you a brief overview of my career, it went from martial artist at the age of 5 years old when I started, to competitions, to the pinnacle of my sports career at the Olympic Games and World Championships. And I love this little PAVE graphic that we have, how we're stopping the dominoes of violence. Thanks, Luis, for sharing that. So taking me again through martial arts competition, through the Olympic Games, through World Championships, and then on to coaching. And for most of my adult life, as Tasha said, I have been fighting to keep athletes safe on and off the playing field. I witnessed very early on, even as a teenager, coaches and martial arts instructors participating in predatory behavior. And it was something I struggled with, and I often reached out to athletes and classmates and said, hey, are you okay? You don't have to stay in these situations. This doesn't have to happen to you. And that just continued to progress, and my involvement in advocating just grew when I stepped into the coaching roles. And then kind of as the universe works, I found myself participating and invited to an incubator for ESD Global, the creation of ESD Global, Empowerment Self-Defense Global, which we know now is doing, in the small time of 6 years, is doing incredible things all around the world. So I was involved in that incubator, and I had an aha moment for me that although I was surrounded with high-level martial art, Olympic level athletes in Taekwondo, in judo, in boxing, in wrestling, although I was surrounded by these athletes that could physically take care of themselves, physically protect themselves. It wasn't about teaching them a knee strike. It wasn't about teaching them an elbow strike. They were still not defending themselves, and they still did not have the tools to set a boundary to protect themselves against a predatory coach or teammate. They didn't have the tools to identify coercion or inappropriate coercion, because coaches coerce their athletes all the time. I coerce my athletes all the time. But to identify inappropriate coercion, in a nutshell, they didn't have the skills to keep themselves safe. And so this set me on an even more passionate mission to protect our athletes. And when I was presented with the opportunity to lead PAVE and be involved with PAVE, I immediately, to me, sport mirrors life all the time. It is constantly mirroring life. And so as a coach, I saw athletes on an upward trajectory, like an incredible rise, top of their game, world beaters, all of a sudden just start missing a step, right? They're losing their focus, they're missing practice, they're not making weight, they're now, labeled a bad teammate because something was happening to them, because they were experiencing an assault or coercion or being manipulated, being taken advantage of. And so in a sporting world, when those things start happening, you start losing your focus, you start being less competitive, you start becoming labeled, right? You're no longer coachable, you're no longer competitive, you're no longer a team player. You just disappear. And that translates very, very easily into what happens in the workplace. So we may see a coworker who is, top sales for 6 months running, and then all of a sudden they're showing up late, or they're not as productive as they used to be, or, they quit. And so these skills that I wanted to empower our athletes with, it is the exact set of skills that our workforce needs. And we know that. I know that I'm preaching to the choir here. We know that the skill sets that we are imparting in our own areas and through our own programs can improve productivity, improve profits, improve culture, create a safer and more engaged and healthier culture within the workplace. We know that. And that's what PAVE is looking to bring to the workplace and corporate culture, changing institutional culture, with the Trojan horse of, we can make your company more productive. We can make you more money. Even though for me, that's not what it's about. For me, it's creating a safer culture. But if that's what gets us in the door, packaging it in that manner, then we will take that. We will take that opportunity. Here we've just posted some statistics that stick out for us. But again, we know, Luis and I know we're preaching to the choir here. So this statistic here really struck me. 1 in every 6 work-related deaths was attributed to workplace violence. I mean, just think about that, 1 in every 6. In France, almost 20% of women reported a sexual incident in the last 12-month period during work. Over 2 million US workers are victim of violence every year. I mean, these are crazy. And we know that these 3 statistics, there are 3,000 statistics out there that say the same thing. So this is especially during the pandemic and post-pandemic, this is the time. This is the time to make this culture shift and to make this culture change. I think this is our window of opportunity. So I will pause and take any questions. Again, we are so excited about this. We believe that PAVE prevention is the answer, and we do most of our adult learning at work. This is what I believe, and this is what studies show. Science shows us we do our adult learning at work. So if we can enter into this avenue and we can impart this skill set, I think we will stop the dominoes of violence, and then the dominoes will start to fall for healthier cultures, safer cultures, which will then turn into healthier family situations, healthier communities. You know, before I close and pass the baton to Luis, I just want to share with you something that I feel very strongly about. I feel that violent events are robbing us. They're robbing us from opportunities, the opportunity to become the best mother you can be, the best father you can be, the best sibling you can be, the best coach, the best boss, the best employee. It's robbing us of that fundamental right. And we need to change it. We need to change it. And with that, I will pass it over to my really cool, neat, and passionate coworker, Luis.
Can you hear me now?
Mute. There we are.
Okay. Sorry, it was like the sharing. Can you hear me there?
Yes, we can hear you, Luis.
We hear you.
Okay, great. So going back to the presentation, I wanted to ask you and everybody here in the room, how many of you have designed like these programs and like these cool approaches to ESD to present it to different groups and to engage more community members into the ESD world? How many of you have done that and feel like there's something still missing, something that it's not quite there yet? And I will welcome you to comment any type of like programming that you're doing, any type of ideas that you have been working on the chat. Because exactly that's what we want in PAVE. We want all of your ideas and projects and all these things that are going on worldwide. We are not limited to the United States or Latin America. We are working for like everybody everywhere. But we want to take the moment with you and your projects and these cool programs that are going on everywhere to make you think as if they are artwork, as if you were like actually doing a painting or like a really cool drawing or something like that. We see all of the programming that has been going on as that, as genuine artwork that needs to be put out on the public for people to want to buy it, to people to want to admire and learn and see what's being done. And that's why we are trying to use different types of framings. And that's when we use ESG for women, and like we frame it for companies, businesses, and institutions to be used in that respect. We use the ESG for kids in another different framing, ESG for schools, healthcare, or like many other types of projects that are out there that we want to bring those to the organizations, institutions, companies, for them to be more mainstream. And that's what we're doing in PAVE, taking all your hard work and all that art that you're creating and framing it so people understand what they are, understand how they relate to it. And in that respect, we're using different techniques. One of them is corporate and organizational responsibility. And what do this means? Responsibility means to be able to respond, to be responsible and accountable and liable. But accountability and liability mainly refer to like this idea of like when something happens, somebody is accountable or liable under the law to respond to what already happened. We don't want to stay just there. We know ESD has this idea of like being not only able to respond under a situation, but to mitigate violent events from happening. And that's exactly what we want. We want to mitigate. We want to prevent. We want to give the tools for people to react under different circumstances, and most important, to heal if something already happened. So we want all your ideas, projects, and things that you're working on to be mainstream and to be and reach the places that most need them. Companies, schools, universities, name it, you name it, and that's exactly what we're trying to do here. Framing every single project and match it to the specific organization that might need it. And with this, I will leave the floor for questions.
So we did have a question online, and it was asking if you've piloted a program, and if so, what areas and locations those may be.
I'll let Luis talk about what's happening in Costa Rica, and then I'll chime in after. Luis?
Okay, yeah, actually, this past 4 to 5 weeks, we have been working really, really hard to create small pilots or small like approximates to what balance creation programming will be for public institutions in alignment with one ESD instructor here, Hannah Gabriels, and she has opened many doors and many different opportunities where we're accompanying her work and all of her ideas, as I just mentioned, to be able to bring this programming into the right hands. So what we're doing is exactly doing the framework that she wants, with her ideas, with like her projections of how this should be done, and adding PAVE preventions like framing, so like the companies get, well, in this case, the private institutions get, public institutions, sorry, get exactly what's the idea behind it, how should we integrate with it. So we're in a second stage of the piloting, let's call it like that here. So we're taking the public institutions to a small programming here, so they can see what we're about, and then now we're turning into a roundtable discussion to see how we can collaborate. And that's been done here in Costa Rica. Arlene?
Yes, I will also share that we are several meetings in at high levels with IBM, Gigawatt Global, Highmark Healthcare, the New York Hospitality Association. We have advisors through the disaster preparedness network of the United States military and the United States government, so that we are framing what we are presenting so that it rings very strongly on the ears that are listening to us. So framing our presentations to acknowledge what happens in violent events as micro disasters and microaggressions, and then how we can prevent those, react to those, and heal from those, of course, as we know that's what ESD programming does. So we are actively looking for people to administer pilots with. We have not officially done a pilot, and a pilot for us looks like doing an assessment of policies, administering our assessment that we've developed through a relationship with an organizational psychologist, and administering program, gathering data after that programming, and then setting up preferably a long-term relationship with that organization or corporation. So we are actively seeking that partner. We, as it was explained to me from one of my advisors, because I'm very goal driven and I want to see these things happening already. We've got so many fuses lit right now, and I'm very excited about all the fuses we have lit. But they're going to start popping and exploding really soon. So we're really excited about that. But we welcome more partners and we welcome more places to administer our pilot and our programming.
Wonderful. Okay, so it looks like Obi has a question and it says, what strategies do you use in your work? Also, can we partner in Nigeria?
Yeah, we would love to partner in Nigeria. We would love to have conversations with you on that. I think that by the end of the year, well, in November, we're doing a lunch and learn to the corporate body, the C-suite of Gigawatt Global, and they are ready for us to administer programming during onboarding of their employees in Rwanda, in Burundi. So they have a couple places that will open the doors for us in Africa. So Nigeria would be wonderful for us.
Awesome. And then we have a hand raised. It's Chimize.
She amazing. Thank you very much, Arlene. I don't know if I got the name correctly.
Yes,
yeah,
you did.
I'm Chemezda Atama from Nigeria. Obi already raised it. I was just about asking for the same thing, because I know that gender is contextualized, and generating evidence from different contexts will only can help us to get rich data that can inform policies, that can inform interventions. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how what you are doing over there can also happen here in terms of collaboration, so that we can have a more holistic view of the issue. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And please share your emails in the chat, and Luis and I will make sure that we reach out and set aside some time where we can set up a meeting to explore potential partnerships.
Wonderful. And then
Thank you.
then Arlene, I just wanted to ask, because I know, for me, I run my own business and there's a lot of other self-defense business owners out there who I think would benefit from partnering with you. I just wanted to see if you'd be willing to share a little bit about what your hopes are as far as the benefits for self-defense instructors in different areas who can't get in the door really for major corporations, and possibly partnering with you would be a benefit for them.
Sure, sure, sure. At PAVE, Luis and I we envision creating so much work for ESD professionals and changing culture. That's what we really hope to do. We don't want to step on anyone's toes. We don't want to. We just want to create opportunities. That's what we want to do. We want to create a framework that we can best package what you're doing and how you're doing it. And I used a term from an advisor of mine, a Trojan horse, but create that Trojan horse to go in there, put in our programming, and then hopefully one day the term PAVE compliance becomes a worldwide term, and companies long to be PAVE compliant and show that they are creating a culture that is safe, that is healthier, that is happier, that is more productive. That's how I envision PAVE growing. Just as we in the United States call for OSHA compliance to make sure that there are safety regulations as employees work, I hope to create PAVE. We hope to create PAVE compliance.
And just to add a little bit to that, Arlene, we're as we have been mentioning, like the idea behind the framing and this idea of like us kind of like being the matchmakers between you and like the organizations that need you and your programs and this beautiful artwork that you all are doing around the world is to speak the language of the companies so they understand exactly what is that you're offering. So you don't have to go all around the ESD programming to make them understand. That's our work. We will like frame it as needed to anyone, anybody. We're like partnering with, as Arlene said, organizational psychologists and people like in different regions and areas to just kind of like bring all the ESD terminology to lingo and language that the people making the decisions if this program goes on understands it well.
Perfect.
Sorry, Tasha, I'm going to jump right in again. I share a story, and sometimes it's interpreted as trivial, but I think you guys will get the idea. And I think I've shared it with some of you already, that our morning can be derailed because we stub our toe. Our morning can be derailed because our dog knocks over our coffee. It can lead to a ripple effect of unproductivity. That little thing can derail our day. Imagine, we know that violent events and trying to recover from a violent event does way more than just derail our day. So by giving that skill set to heal from that, and that's what's different about ESD programming than any other corporate fix to violence or a violent event, is that it gives us the ability to help those employees heal from violent events as well.
Thank you, Arlene. And thank you, Louise. Just it's closing. We don't actually have any more questions, but I'm sure that they'll come up along the way, which is why I'm so grateful that you have your information there. I just wanted to ask you, because you are so passionate about the work that you do. You know, what is your greatest hope when it comes to this work? Like if there was this big dream for the whole world, what would it be, and how does PAVE fit into that?
I mean, it sounds corny, but it's like our mission state, it's to make the world a safer place, to make the world more peaceful. I mean, that's what I feel our power is. We could do this. if this really takes hold, we can do it. You know, in the short term, I want to see every emergency room worker given the skill set of how to de-escalate. I mean, it's amazing to me that emergency room nurses haven't been given that training. I mean, I just don't get it. But those are the type of short-term goals that, you know, that I think PAVE has. But really, the long-term goal is, one, at some point, PAVE compliance is something that's sought after worldwide. And PAVE compliance officers are in every HR department. That's the big vision. And I think we can make it happen. And now is the time to make it happen.
Thank you, Arlene. And again, thank you, Luis. I greatly appreciate both of you and your knowledge and skills. And I'm so excited for PAVE and seeing what's to come. So up next, we are going to actually have a networking activity. So definitely join us at 11:30 for that networking activity, and have a great one. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you, everybody. You saw information there. I copied the emails on the chat. So thank you, reach out, and we hope to see many of your programs on our folder to present to clients and to bring it to more people. Thank you so much.